Good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me? Yeah, very good. So I've been teaching first-time entrepreneurs for about 5 years. I taught about 700 entrepreneurs who are just trying to start the company, and I found that some people would get a lot of help. Some people would get no help. And that bugged me because everybody needs help. Why are some people getting the help and why are some people not getting the help? And I dug deeper into the system and I found that there is one characteristic that will make or break a first-time entrepreneur. There are many, many characteristics, but this one will make a big difference, and that's called the practical generosity quotient. So if you think about it, as an entrepreneur, you need the intelligence quotient. You need to be smart. That's like, that's a given, otherwise you can't even play the game. Then comes Daniel Goleman, who said that you need the emotional quotient. That means you need to be able to relate well with people, because entrepreneurship is a team sport, not a solo sport. So if you think about it, both of them are table stakes. You need to be smart, you need to be able to relate very well with people. So that's a given. So what will differentiate a first-time entrepreneur? In here, there are some first-time entrepreneurs, but many of you are helping first-time entrepreneurs. So the difference, I call it a practical generosity quotient. And let's talk about it a little bit. This is not philanthropy. It's not a generosity that comes as giving for the sake of giving or giving for the sake of a cause. So if that is not the case, then what is PGQ? So let's think about it. Anyone can seriously increase the odds of succeeding in an entrepreneurship game if they have oversupply of good help. So they need some help, they need to know how to get funding or anything. If they can access someone who has been there, done that, it will make the path a little bit easier. So if they have an oversupply of good help, then path becomes easier. So if that is the case, you can know that good help will increase the capacity. It will give a boost to the capacity of getting things done, moving the needle. So if that is the case, practical generosity is a gift. It's a gift of capacity. So somebody needs something and you give them that capacity, you have practically generous to them. And if you think about it, there are many ways you can pretend to help and there are ways you can actually help. For example, if somebody comes to me and says, Raj, you have written 14 books. Can you help me write a book? At one end, I can say, you know, there is Amazon. And then if you go to Amazon and I type how to write a book, and I'm sure you will get a lot of books. Look at the best, most commented or most rated one. You should read that. And that's like 1 out of 100, right? So it feels like I'm helping, but I'm actually giving useless advice, right? But instead, if I tell them that the very first thing you need to do when you are writing a book is to think about a book proposal. And here is a template. I'll send them the proposal template that is really, really good. And I'll introduce them to my book agents. And then I'll tell them, fill up this template and I'll spend half an hour with you, go through what is right, what is wrong with the template. And once it's done, I'll introduce you to the graphic designers, editors, concept editors, line editors, illustrators, cover designers, everyone. Now I am getting to 70 out of 100. So that's real help. One is pretending to help, other is real help. Practical generosity is actual real help. So if you think about it, the definition that I have come up with is, PGQ is a percentage of capacity you added in relation to the total capacity needed to move the needle. In the first case, assume that the capacity needed was 100. Somebody has never written a book, they need to write a book. If they write the book, then the capacity is 100. So I offer some 50% of the help, then the PGQ is 50%. So in any case, the more your PGQ, from a philosophical angle, you put more into the universe. At some point when you need it, the universe will give back more to you. So if that is agreed by all of you, there is a PGQ test. If your PGQ is really, really high, then what will happen is the person who receives that good help will start missing you in their past. How can somebody miss anybody in the past, right? It makes no sense. So if I think about it, quick question, if I ask you to remember all your teachers from the past, you have gone to, some of you have PhDs and everything. If I say all the teachers, can you name them? Most of you will say, I can't name all of them. Can you name some of them? Definitely you can name some of them, and those people will be in two categories. Either they were really bad or they were really good, right? Let's eliminate the really bad ones. And there are some really good ones, and those are the teachers that made you who you are today. They gave you such a big gift that they shaped your life, the trajectory of your life to reach where you are today. And those are the people you will miss in the past. Maybe your teacher, maybe your first boss who gave you that insight that shaped the trajectory of your life, and you will think, oh my God, I wish I met this person 10 years ago, my life would have been even better. That's when you miss the past. That's the litmus test for you. If you are giving so much that somebody will miss you in the past, your PGQ is very, very high. So how do you boost your PGQ is you start with your strengths. A rhetorical question will be, should I work on your strengths? Of course, yes, it's a rhetorical question. But the problem is, how can you identify your strengths? And it seems simple, but it's not. Why? Because the biggest strengths that you have are generally invisible to you. Why? Because you do it so effortlessly, you don't even think it's a strength. It's invisible to you, but it's visible to everybody else around you, right? But for you, it's like, it's common sense. Everybody should know this. Why should I break my head on it? So there are 7 ways you can identify your strengths. I'll go through one by one very quickly. First one is from your journals. If those of you are writing journals, at the end of the day, you probably write 1 page of the journal, but there are 24 hours in a day. How can you fit everything that happened in 24 hours in 1 page? You can't. So if you look at the journal, you will see the highlights of that day as you think they are important, right? So that gives you a clue to your strengths, because you didn't capture minute by minute of what happened on the day, but you captured some highlights. That highlights will give a clue to your strengths. For those of you who are not writing journals, you look at your notes. Some of you would have taken down notes from the speakers today, and you also didn't take them verbatim from start to finish, but you took some pieces of it. That again gives rise to your strengths. Next one is from your mentors. There was a lot of talk about mentors throughout the conference today. Mentors have no other agenda except making you a better version of you, right? So that means they are always looking at your strengths and say, this person or this is very good at this. Maybe we need to do something more to make him or her even better. Next one is asking competent people who care. And there are 2 keywords here, competent and who care. Sometimes it's very easy to cheat yourself. And then suppose you are playing chess, and then you just want to feel good, you go to your mom and say, how do I play? Mom will say, very nice. Moms will always say good things. Unless the mom is an international chess player, it will not matter much, right? So it has to be both. You have to ask competent people who care, am I really good at this? How can I become better at it? The next one, noticing when you are in the flow. Flow is a very good book, Mihaly, Six and Mihaly. So easiest way to describe flow is when you are doing an activity, you lose track of time. When I talk about this, people say, yeah, when I watched Titanic, I really lost track of time. No, that's not the kind of losing track of time I'm talking about. That's when you watch a ship sinking for 1.5 hours and you think, I never thought the time went by. So this is when you're doing some real productive work, when you lose track of time, you look back and notice what your strengths are. Noticing what you notice and noticing what you don't notice. Now this looks like a mystery, right? Like how can you notice what you don't notice, right? You didn't notice it, so you can't notice it. So the easiest way to do it is look at this room. There are more than one of you who are in the room also taking notes. At the end of it, you just compare notes, and there is no way everybody took exactly the same thing that you wrote down, right? That is when you compare and see what is that they noticed that I didn't notice. What is that they thought it was important that I didn't think it was important. That again gives clues to your strengths. Last one, if you forget all the 6, the 7th one is the most important thing, right? It is noticing the requests that are made off of you. Like somebody will ask you for help if they think you are good at it. Suppose you are a bad negotiator. I don't think they will come to you and say, I'm buying a car, I need some help. Can you come and help me negotiate this car for me? Because they think, oh my God, this might be competitive disadvantage if I take this person, right? So, but if you're a really good negotiator, you might get a lot of requests of such kind. So, easiest way to do this is go back to your inbox and then set a date. This is September, you go back to August, all the 30 days filter it, and then search for help, the word help in the received emails. And then look at the pattern. Why did people come to you for help? Because your core strengths are invisible to you, and I told you it's invisible to your friends. They will come to you for help in your core strengths, even though you may not be seeing them. Make sense? Then you have to, very important to understand your network dynamics. This is from a philosophy standpoint, this is a recipe for peace of mind. I'll tell you, when you see the network dynamic, you will see why. In every network, this is constant. At the bottom of the pyramid are free riders. Free riders are happy consumers without having to reciprocate. That means if you give help, they will take it, and it's like the short circuit robot, give me more kind of thing, right? And there will be lots and lots of them. So they will be happy to consume how much ever help you give, they will be happy to consume. If I ask you to make a list, you will say this will go beyond this session or beyond this today, right? And next is not ready people. That means they will consume help, but when you need them to reciprocate back, suddenly they become very busy. Like they have some emergency going on, they have to pick up someone from the airport, something, they will come up with it, right? So if the free riders are people who are asleep, not ready people are who are pretending to sleep, right? It's very important, it's very difficult to wake them up, especially the first ones. You might, because they are ignorant, you might tell them, this is what you are doing, and they say, oh no, I never meant to do it. But the second people, it's very difficult to wake them up because they are not sleeping, they are just pretending to sleep, right? So the next one is ready people. The ready people are always available to help, but they are not proactive. They don't know, sometimes they think that they don't want to intrude, they don't want to assume that you need help, but if you ask them, they will say, of course I am willing to help. Sometimes they will rearrange their schedule and go out of the way, they walk the extra mile and to help, right? These are special people. But the best set of people are evangelists. And these are people you will suddenly get a call from them out of the blue, and they will say, hey, you said you were going to write a book, are you in your chapter 3 or chapter 4? Right? And then if you say you are not even started, they will start questioning as if they are your mom or something. So they will say, you told me you will write it. It's already coming September, it's only 3 more months. That was your New Year resolution. You better get to it. And these are the people you will be afraid to tell your New Year goals and all those things. They will make, your concern will become their concern. Right? They will almost feel that you have to complete that goal because you said it, that it's your New Year resolution. How can you break away from it, right? So evangelists are pure gold in your network. They are the most special people, and there are only a few of them. There will be a handful of them. If you think about it, people say your network is your power. Basically what they are talking about is the ready and the evangelists, not the free riders and the not ready people. They are people who are part of your network. They will add the numbers that will be our LinkedIn connections and Twitter followers and all those things, but the special people are there. Does it make sense? Yeah. If you think about it, how do you increase the top 2 parts of the pyramid? There is only one way. It's by asking a soul-searching question, which is this. For how many people in your network, you are in the top of their network pyramid? Because if I say, go to all your network and label them, or is he a free rider, is he a not ready person, is he a ready person, is he an evangelist? It's a fun exercise actually. You will feel very happy to label someone as a free rider. Yeah, that one is a not ready person. I know he is a not ready person. But if you ask a soul searching question, for how many people you are in the top of the network pyramid, I will not be a popular speaker. Right? So, but this is the case. This is the only metric that will increase the top 2 levels of your network pyramid. Then you have to organize yourself to receive high quality requests. The strengths today will remain as strengths only if you work at them. There is no other way. Just like if you are going to the gym, you will be fit, but if you stop going to the gym, you will not be fit. Same as any other strengths, right? So if you think about it, only if you receive good quality requests that are in the area of your strengths, you will continue to be stronger and you will become even more stronger, right? So for that, you have to remember to say no to not good quality requests, right? So it's very important to do that. And if I ask how many people are good at saying no, I'm sure not a lot of you are good at saying no. Sometimes you feel compelled because you have been asked, right? So and just because they asked, I have to do it. So there is a Harvard professor, I can't remember his name now. So he gave a 5-step program process to say no. Do you all want to know it? Yeah. Very important. It's an important skill to know. It's like, it goes like this. Before that, you know that only if you learn to say no to the wrong request, you will have time to say yes to the right request. That's the only way to do it. And there is a 5-step process. And the steps go like this. And first is you have to repeat the request. None of the steps are complicated, but you have to do it in a particular sequence, and you can't miss the sequence. The sequence is very important. Like in Robert Cialdini's book, he talks about the power of the sequence, where he says there is a young kid who wants some money from his mom. And he comes back and he tells the dad that, no, that didn't work. He said, what did you do? He said, I asked my mom for $1 and then she said no. And then according to what you said, I went and asked for $10 and she even said no. The dad says, you have to get the sequence right. You have to first ask for $10. She will say no. Make her feel guilty and by saying, at least give me $1. So sequence is very important. So repeat the request. For example, I'm an Indian, so somebody will come and say, hey, can you teach me how to cook Indian food? I have to say, just clarifying, you want me to teach how to cook Indian food? So that's the repeating the request. The next one is very important. You have to say, no. You want me to teach how to cook Indian food? No. Right? So exactly you have to say, and it cannot look like you are doing it in steps. You have to say, let me think about it. You want me to teach Indian cook? Second step, no. Then it will look very artificial, right? So then you state a reason. You can say, I suck at it, right? So that's a good reason. You want me to teach how to cook Indian food? No, because I suck at it. So, right? And you can provide an alternative. You can say, my friend Ramesh, if he is available and he is interested, then so he might be able to, if he is willing and you make it worth his while, he may be interested in teaching, right? And then lastly, this is the core of the message. You provide guidance on what could be a better request. But if you ever want to write a book, be it a murder mystery or a business book, you should reach out to me. So every no, you are also guiding people. What is a better request for you, right? And within 1 year, I have done this many times, within 1 year, people will start asking you for the right kind of help rather than anything that because you are a warm body walking around, you will say, we are painting the garage. Oh, Rajesh is walking by. Hey, can you help me paint the garage? So that will stop because they know that what is a right request and what is a wrong request, right? So high stakes requests in the right area of strengths have many advantages. One is it will strengthen your strengths because the request is coming right in the area of your strengths. It will cost you less because it's in the area of your strength. It will cost you less and less to fulfill it. And second, it will provide high value to both. The biggest leverage that you can get is if you can provide the highest value at the lowest cost to you. And that cannot happen if you are working on anything outside the area of your strengths, right? And it will amplify your personal brand. If you are good at what you are doing and if you keep doing and if you fulfill a lot of requests in those areas of strength, automatically you don't have to work on your personal brand. People will say, this guy is good at it, right? And it will bring a sense of fulfillment. This is the key way to boost your PGQ. So there is a missing element here, which is how to learn to listen right. So listening is a really big problem because I didn't do that. So listening is a big problem, biggest problem. The reason is everybody is always thinking what to say next rather than listening. So if you think about it, there are 4 things that you are doing while you are listening. So it's an acronym called JOIN. So the first J is judging or justifying. So as soon as any speaker walks into this podium, the first thing they will you might be thinking is that will this guy or girl be good at it? I don't know. I will listen 5 minutes and then I will decide whether to listen next or not. Right? The first step is to know whether you want to invest a little bit more time. For that you have to judge. Right? You have to judge whether the value is there or not. And it's not just for the speakers, it's just for all conversations. You just want to know whether it's worth your time. Or you are justifying because they ask you a question. Now you start thinking, how do I justify my previous response? Judging or justifying. Next, or this is the core message, which is opportunity for them. While they are talking, you start thinking, based on what they are saying, this is what matters most to them in their life. Maybe I have a connection, maybe I have a resource, maybe I need to tell them something. I start thinking about opportunity for them. Then this is the what's in it for me kind of thing, incentive for you. Based on what they are saying, maybe there's an opportunity for you. You start thinking, oh, he talked about that person, maybe I need to connect to him. Maybe I'll ask him for that referral, resource, networking, connection, all those things. And last one is neutral. Neutral is mind wandering. If you didn't have coffee and then you're feeling sleepy or you just lost interest or something, this is the neutral. So in a 1 hour talk, you may be doing different intervals. You may be in judging or thinking about opportunity for them, incentive for you, or neutral. But there is a band. You can set a band of how it works. So if you think about it, the choice is always yours. The band may look like something like this. 50% of the time you may be judging, just good, not good, good, not good. Maybe 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 4.5 out of 10. Your mind may be doing all the mathematical calculations. Small percentage you might think of opportunity for them. And another 50% you think, what's in it for me? I spent all the time, it's a Saturday afternoon, I better get some value out of this. You are thinking about you. And other 5% you just lost track of it. Just checked your voicemails, emails, status messages, Facebook posts, and Twitter feeds, and all those things. That's where you are losing track of what is happening, right? So this could be this. But a more empowering one will be this, where you keep the judging incentive for you and wandering to the minimum, and you start thinking about this person is spending time, what's an opportunity for them? How can I be of value, right? That's where I come up with a listening quotient, which is a percentage of time you focused on opportunity for them in relation to the total conversation time. If the total conversation time was 100 and you thought about opportunity for them for 40% of the time, then LQ is 40. So we talked about so many quotients. I'll put them all together. So the first two, intelligence quotient and emotional quotient, are table stakes. You need to have the competence and you need to be good with people. Otherwise, you can't even be in the game. PGQ will give you the competitive edge, and learning quotient will tell you what matters most to the other person. Unless you know what matters most to them, how can you relate to them? All this will lead to what I call the gratitude quotient. Gratitude quotient is an overwhelming sense of reciprocation that they need, that they feel, that they have to give you back. In fact, they will ask you, you have been so good to me, is there anything I can do for you? That's like your bank account that you can draw upon. It's your deposit that you are making. So why? Because in my last book I wrote there, your power is directly proportional to the obligations you create with powerful people. A lot of powerful people feel obligated to give back to you. Automatically your power increases. And I want to leave you with an African proverb which I really cherish, and it is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Thank you very much.